My friend, while everyone's talking about the retirement, nobody's stopping to talk about the real impact this cornerback left on the two guys who are going to defend the Eagles' secondary for the next 10 years. And when you understand what he did for them, you're going to see this farewell in a completely different light. I'm going to tell you the full story of this legendary cornerback, what he built in Philadelphia, and why his legacy goes way beyond any Pro Bowl or championship. But first, if you're a true Eagles fan, hit that like button and subscribe right now, because this is the kind of content we make with respect, with emotion, and with genuine love for this team. And stay until the end, because the part nobody's talking about is coming up. Let's go. This past Monday, this cornerback took to social media to share a message that will be etched in the memory of every Eagles fan. He wrote directly to the sport that shaped him, that provided for his family, that was the foundation of his entire life since he was a child. 13 years in the NFL at the highest level, 13 years being one of the best cornerbacks in the league, and now, with gratitude and his head held high, Darius Slay officially announced his retirement. "Football was my peace, my joy, my everything," he wrote. And anyone who watched Slay play knows exactly the weight of those words. There was a genuine spark in his eyes every time he made a perfect coverage rep, every time he forced a 3 and out, every time he swatted a deep pass to the ground at the exact moment the opponent needed it most. That was love for the game. That was real. And it's rare to see that in a league where so many players are only thinking about the next contract and the next team. But let's start from the beginning, because Slay's story doesn't start in Philadelphia. It starts long before that, and understanding the full journey is what gives this farewell the weight it deserves. Darius Slay grew up in Brunswick, Georgia, a small town far from the spotlight, far from the glamour that surrounds the biggest names in the NFL. He wasn't an obvious prospect. He wasn't the guy everyone was pointing to as a sure thing since high school. He came into the NFL as a second-round pick in the 2013 draft, selected by the Detroit Lions. And you know what's interesting about that? Second round means a lot of people doubted him. It means that when teams were walking up to the stage and calling names in the first round, Slay's name wasn't there. But he turned that doubt into fuel. 7 seasons in Detroit. 7 seasons on a team that, let's be honest, rarely gave Slay the support around him that he deserved. The Lions of that era weren't a consistent playoff team. They weren't a team competing for a championship. And yet, week after week, Slay was there, covering the opponent's #1 wide receiver, going up against the best pass catchers in the league with the confidence of someone who knows exactly what they're doing. He made the Pro Bowl in Detroit, built a rock-solid reputation, and proved he was elite even without the stage he deserved. That says everything about the character of a player. Anyone can perform when they're surrounded by talent and competing for a title. The real test is what you do when the environment around you isn't perfect. And Slay passed that test with distinction. The defining turning point came in 2020. Howie Roseman, the architect of the Eagles, saw in that Detroit cornerback exactly what Philadelphia needed at that moment. A true #1. A cornerback who could take the opponent's best receiver, play man coverage, and free up the rest of the defense to do their jobs. The trade happened, and Slay arrived in Philadelphia ready to show everyone why he had the nickname the entire league already knew. Big Play Slay. And he delivered. Man, did he deliver. 5 seasons wearing midnight green and silver. 3 Pro Bowls in Philadelphia. 3. Just think about that for a second. He came to a new team, a new system, a new city, a new fan base, and still maintained the elite level he always had. That's not luck. That's not a coincidence. That's a professional who understands what needs to be done and goes out and does it, regardless of the circumstances around him. In Philadelphia, Slay wasn't just a cornerback. He was the cornerback. He was the identity of the secondary. He was the name that opposing offensive coordinators put on the tactical board during game week and immediately knew they needed a different plan. How many cornerbacks in Eagles history commanded that kind of respect from the entire league? How many cornerbacks made 3 Pro Bowls wearing midnight green? Very few. Very few. And there's a chapter of Slay's journey that almost nobody is telling correctly, and that speaks more about his character than any statistic ever could. After 5 years in Philadelphia, he went to the Pittsburgh Steelers for the 2025 season. Yes, the Steelers, the historical rival, one of the most intense rivalries in football. The Steelers moved on, released Slay, and the Eagles actually put in a waiver claim to bring him back. But the Buffalo Bills claimed him off waivers instead. And you know what happened after that? Slay never played a single game for the Bills. And this offseason, before announcing his retirement, he made it crystal clear to everyone. If any team was going to call him, it was only one team. The Eagles. Just one. That wasn't cheap nostalgia. That wasn't marketing. That was genuine love for a franchise, for a city, for a fan base that welcomed him and never let him forget how valued he was. Now we get to the part almost nobody is talking about. And this is where, my friend, Slay's legacy takes on a dimension that goes way beyond titles and Pro Bowl selections. When the Eagles drafted Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, two rookies the entire football world pointed to from day one as the future of the Eagles' secondary, who was right there beside them? Who passed down the knowledge, taught the details of the position, showed them how to carry themselves during a prep week, how to study opponent film, how to position themselves in high-pressure moments? Darius Slay. Both players spoke publicly about the impact he had on their development as professionals. These weren't the kind of polite compliments you hear in a post-game press conference. These were genuine statements from players who learned from a master and fully understood it. Think about the scale of that for a moment. Today, the Eagles have two first-team All-Pros in their secondary in Mitchell and DeJean. Two guys who arrived as rookies and are already considered among the best at their position in the entire league. Part of what they are today, the mindset, the preparation, the confidence, passed through Slay's hands. Through the patience of a veteran who could have easily closed himself off, protected his own space, and let the rookies figure it out the hard way on their own. Instead, he opened the door. He shared the knowledge. He treated their development as part of his job, and that's something a contract never requires, but that the truly great players do because they understand that a team's legacy is built in exactly those invisible moments. That's the kind of contribution that defines a franchise for years, sometimes for decades. You can win a Super Bowl and be remembered, but when you win a Super Bowl and also develop the cornerbacks who are going to win the next ones, that's when you become a true legend. And speaking of the Super Bowl, Slay was a key piece in the campaign that brought Super Bowl 59 to Philadelphia. He's part of the select group of players who put the Vince Lombardi trophy back in the hands of the Eagles. That chapter alone already secured his place in franchise history. What he did as a mentor was the bonus that stat-focused fans don't see, but that fans who truly understand the sport recognize immediately. 13 seasons, 5 Pro Bowls, 1 Super Bowl with the Eagles, an entire generation of cornerbacks shaped by the example he left inside that locker room, and a farewell message that doesn't carry a single drop of bitterness. Only gratitude, only love for the sport, only the pride of a kid from Brunswick, Georgia, who dreamed big and lived every inch of that dream. Darius Slay was exactly what the Eagles needed, at the right time, for the right amount of time. And now, with the grace of someone who played this game with honesty and joy from start to finish, he closes this chapter and opens the door to whatever comes next. Thank you, Big Play. Philadelphia will never forget. And you, my friend, do you think Darius Slay deserves to have his number retired by the Eagles? Drop it in the comments, because that's the debate we want to have here. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, share it with that one friend who's an NFL fan, and subscribe so you never miss anything from Eagles Nation. See you in the next one.